So this is 2026, right? And a lot of UK visas are still being refused. We get a lot of UK visa refusals, and it shouldn't be happening because I thought that the fact that I've made a lot of videos on this channel about this, a lot of you guys would know exactly what to do. And I also had a lot of agents that follow me. I believe that you guys are learning a few things, so you should be actually implementing these things for your clients. So today, I'm going to be teaching you guys something else that is very important, so that if you don't understand it yet, maybe this video will be the video where you finally get it. So you can actually do the best job for your clients. And for those of you guys who are doing your application yourself, you also know exactly how to approach it. So it's important that you pay very close attention. Pay attention, right? I'm going to be leaving no stone unturned. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Gerald, and I'm the founder of No Agent Travel Guide. We provide expert visa advisory, right? So we help you put your best foot forward so that your chances of getting your visa approved skyrockets. Basically, that's what we do. So if you pay attention to my videos, I'm sure you're going to learn a couple of things. So it's important that you smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, and most importantly, turn on the bell notification button so that when I drop more amazing videos, just like what you're watching right now, YouTube is going to send you a notification instantly. So that's it, guys. Let's jump right in. Why are UK visas still getting refused in 2026? Let's talk about that right now. Most times, maybe 90% of the time, it's actually about money, right? It is still about money, even in 2026, because people don't know how to present their money, right? Their bank statements. And one of the issues that we have all of the time, most times, when clients come to us with refusal notices, is that UK will tell you that apart from your salary from your salaried employment, we identified other unexplained deposits, and you have not explained the source of these funds, either by way of explanation or evidence. So because you have not explained the origin of these funds, it's a refusal. So I tell people that when you are doing UK visa applications, every fund from 50k and above naira, right? 50,000 naira and above must be explained. So if you're watching from Ghana, you're watching from Sierra Leone, you're watching, just use oando.com and confirm what 50,000 naira is in your own currency. That is what you need to explain. They are considered large deposits. From 50k and above, they are considered large deposits. So you must explain the source and origin of these funds. And the way we approach it, that we actually use a table to explain this. I've actually talked about it in a different video. If you want me to actually teach again how to do it, let me know in the comment section, and I will not hesitate to actually do that for you guys. That's one. Unexplained deposit. You must explain the source and origin of these funds. Now, number two is expenses. Now, for most people, we don't know how much you actually spend every month. That's the truth. And when we analyze people's bank statements and you tell them how much they spend, they are like, no, that's not possible. Because it's crazy, right? So when somebody is filling the visa application form, UK is going to ask you on the form and say, how much do you spend in a month? Your regular expenses. They will write 200,000 naira. Now, the UK is going to tell you on the refusal notice that you said on the VAF is visa application form. You said on the VAF that you spend 200,000 naira every month. We went through your bank statements. In the month of August, you spent a total of 315,000 naira. While in the month of September, you spent 258,000 naira. And this other month, you spent 1 million naira. So I am not sure how you calculated your expenses to arrive at the 200,000 naira that you claim that you spend every month. Because of this, I do not believe that you have given a true reflection of your financial circumstances. It is only reasonable that if you are able to provide a figure, you should be able to provide by way of evidence or explanation how you arrived at that figure. Because of that, it's a refusal. So your expenses is very important. So how do we approach this? We go through your bank statement line by line to actually extract what your expenses are, so that when they go through your bank statement and compare it with the number that you have given them on visa application form, there is a direct correlation, right? So it's very important that you do that. Now, we also understand the fact that some of you guys, or most of all of us, we don't spend a specific amount of money every month. You can spend more this month and spend less the next month. So we also take this into account when we are doing this calculation. Now, this mathematics is not for this particular video. If you want me to show you guys how to do this mathematics, let me know in the comment section, and I'll make a different video showing you guys how to run this mathematics, right? The next thing is income. Income is very important. Now, for some people, especially business people, if you are asked on the visa application form how much you earn in a month, most of us don't know, right? So it is easier when you get paid a salary or you pay yourself a salary, so you can actually point to that number, that this is what you earn every month. That's what you pay yourself. So it is well understood. But when you are an employed person, it's a lot easier. You can say that I earn this amount of money every month. However, let's say you earn 1 million naira every month, and you have other monies in your bank account, like you have savings and cowrie-wise, they pay you money, you have a boyfriend or husband or wife, or the person gives you money every single month, you have a side business, it gives you money. These are all income. Any money that comes into your bank account, it's income, and they must be accounted for. Right? So there is a space for additional income on the visa application form. So you might have to use that space. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a different video showing you guys the different scenarios of additional income, how to calculate it and put it there. Because one of the issues that UK have with a lot of persons is that they will tell you and say that you have indicated on the visa application form that you have an additional income of 10 million naira a year, but you have not provided any evidence or explanation as to how you calculated this additional income, which leads me to believe that you are not in receipt or this additional income that you claim that you have. Because of that, it's a refusal. So you see the additional income space, very important. You need to actually approach it with care, right? Care. So it's very important. Now, the next on my list is for business owners. How you calculate your expenses, income, everything is different. You might have to provide a tax returns. That is why it's actually easier to get a UK visa as an employee, because you have to show that your business is operating at a level that it is making profits, right? And how do you show this? You have your bank account that shows steady income, that is like on the lower cadre. But what gets the job done 1,001 times over is your audited financial report or your tax returns, not your tax certificate. Tax returns, because a tax return will show exactly how much you paid in taxes, right, for your business. So if the company income tax is 25% and you paid 150,000 naira, you cannot claim that you are making a profit of 100 million in a year, because 100 million would have paid a different number in taxes. So that person should be like maybe 25 million naira in taxes. That's what you should have paid. So when you are showing a tax return that you paid 150k in taxes and you're saying that you made 100 million, doesn't make sense. Because they know what the tax rates are for companies. So it wouldn't make sense. I had somebody that came to us. He was refused a Canadian visa because they told him that he has not proven the history of accumulation of the funds in his bank account. Guess what? He gave them a personal income tax where he paid, 250k in taxes. But he said that he made about 200 million in a year. His bank account was showing that he actually made 200 million, right? But his tax return was saying something. That's a contradiction. Of course, they questioned it. So it's important that you pay attention to this, especially for business owners, very important, because most time for business owners, the barrier for you is higher. You have to prove that your business is profitable. You also show that you are also making money as yourself, because the business is a different legal entity. You yourself, you're also a different legal entity, right? So you have two different targets and you have two different proof on two different fronts, right? So that's for you. Now, closing balance is also very important, because when you say that, for instance, there's a lady that I spoke with today. On her refusal notice, they told her that she's indicated on visa application form that she's going to be spending £2,000 personally in the UK for her trip, but she had about 60k in her bank account. So she told me that her auntie was going to be sponsoring, and I explained to her, on the visa application form, you have somewhere else where they ask you and say, is some other person paying towards your trip? You say yes. Who is this person? You mention the name and his relationship. Then you also mention exactly how much the person is going to be paying to your trip. It was an oversight. And I've seen this maybe over 10 times. People actually mistaking that particular part as how much they are personally paying towards the trip. So if you are paying this amount of money towards the trip, then you should be able to afford that money. You should show that you have that money as at the time that you are applying for that visa, not money that will come later. Like one guy told me that his salary is going to be paid after he applies for the visa, so that when the salary comes, that he's going to be able to fund the trip before the visa comes out. No, it doesn't work like that. The money has to be in your account when you are applying for that particular visa. So your closing balance is very important. Now, another thing that you must pay attention to is your opening balance. I've talked about this before in a different video. There was this guy that reached out to us from Ghana. We're having a conversation. He has already booked his appointment for his biometric for UK visa. And when we were talking, I told him and I said that you're going to get a refusal. And I can promise you that. He asked why. I showed him. One of the things that I found out from his application, there's a lot of things, but one of them was that his opening balance was 33.85 Ghana cedis, while his closing balance was 200,000 Ghana cedis. And I told him, I said that the UK is going to tell you that your opening balance is low, which suggests to me that you have heavy demand on your finances. Then the days leading up to your visa application, you started leaving money inside your account, which leads me to believe that you are trying to inflate I'm paraphrasing, you are trying to inflate your financials, so that you can influence the outcome of this visa application. Because of this, I do not believe that you have given a true representation of your financial. That's all. Visa is refused, right? So it's important that you pay attention to your opening balance and make sure that it is reasonable, right? It is reasonable from the date that you are actually printing your bank statement. That's another thing you need to pay attention to. Now, I've seen this less than 10 times now, but of course, it is something that's occurring every time. Address inconsistency. So make sure that the addresses that you are putting, for instance, if you saw on the visa application form that you live at number 1 ABC Street, right? And your driver's license is saying that you live at number 7 BCA Street, there's a problem. So they're going to flag it. Or your bank statement is saying that you live at a different address. That's a problem. There was a lady that came to us. She was applying for UK visa. And on the visa application form, they asked her about her spouse. And they will ask you on the form, does this person live with you? She said yes. Then she submitted her husband's driver's license, and they had a different address. They flagged it, and it was a refusal. So you need to actually pay attention to your addresses. Addressing consistency, very important. Now, one of the most important things that you must prove when you're applying for a visit visa is your ties to your home country, because it goes to prove your return intent. It's a visit visa. You're supposed to visit and return. So you must prove to the officer that you have plans of returning to your home country. Otherwise, it is going to be a refusal. So for different persons, this could actually mean different things. If you are married, it could mean marriage certificate. You have kids, your kid birth certificate. You are in school, your school enrollment documentation. You have a job, you can lean on that. You have a business, you can lean on that. It can be a lot of things for a lot of people. People that are not married, you don't have a job that pays a lot of money, you don't have a business that pays a lot of money. There are also things that you can lean on. It is when we actually talk to you, we understand your circumstances, that we can tell you, how to actually approach it, right? I've also seen the UK tell people that you have had a previous refusal. You have chosen to not respond to the issues raised in that previous refusal. And I have looked at this application, and I cannot see a change in circumstance. That is why it's important most times to actually look at what the issues that were raised in your previous refusal letters and fix it in your current application, which is very important, right? Now, if somebody is sponsoring you, it could be a financial sponsor, accommodation sponsor, whatever it is, right? You need to provide the proof of your relationship between you and this sponsor. Otherwise, it's a red flag, because what they are trying to guide against, that's how I understand it. They're trying to guide against you meeting somebody randomly. You meet somebody randomly, you tell the person to give you an invite, you want to come to the UK and provide documents to you. So beyond the invitation letter, beyond all the other documentations, you also need to prove your relationship with this person. That's one of the reasons why I was refused the first time I ever applied for UK visa in 2022. I got a refusal. And part of the reason was that they told me, and I said that beyond this application, they cannot find a relationship between me and the person that was inviting me to the UK. Automatically, it was a refusal. So among other things, I had to address that. I provided documentation to prove that I have known this person beyond this particular visa application, right? Very important. Now, there's something else that it is not a major reason for refusal, but sometimes, they stress it. When they stress it, they say that it's only reasonable that you are able to do this. That it is not a refusal reason according to the UK visitor rules, but it is reasonable that you do this. For instance, you don't have an itinerary of the things that you plan to do as a tourist. I have seen them flag it a lot of time, but they will tell you that it is not a refusal reason, but it leads them to doubt your genuineness. But in most cases, this is actually compared with other reasons. It cannot be, I don't think it's enough to refuse a UK visit visa in isolation, right? So it is with this and other things. So sometimes we actually pay attention to this. There's a client that came to us. He has written a cover letter and wanted us to take a look at it. So he booked an expert visa analysis session. And while we were actually going through this, I discovered that he said he was going to be in London for 5 days. He plans to go from London to another site that is in Scotland. Then 2 other sites in Edinburgh. Then 2 other sites in Wales. Then 2 other sites in Manchester. And I was like, bro, Afana, how much do you have? How much does train cost? Where are you going to be staying in these places? That means you need to get accommodation in those places. You get what I mean? So you're shooting yourself in the foot, right? So I advised him, pick locations that are in the same area. It is logical and reasonable right, that way. So these are some of the things that that you must pay attention to when you are applying for a UK visit visa in 2026. Otherwise, you are going to get another refusal or your first refusal, right? And it can be frustrating. Trust me, I have to. Right, I got to apply the first time, I got a refusal. The second time was their mistake. Right, they made an error. Then I had to apply the third time, point out their error, and I got my UK visa. That was my first UK visa I got. I've gotten others, but at least I got two, and I know how devastating they can be. Right, so you can avoid it, which is why it's important for you to click on the first link that is pinned in my comment section below to book an expert visa analysis session with us. Right, so we talk to you, analyze your profile and tell you whether you're qualified, and of course the strategy, how you should apply for this visa, and the documentations you need to provide to actually prove that you're qualified for this visa that you plan to apply for. So if you have any questions at all, let me know in the comment section, right? If you refused a visa before, and one of these reasons is the reason why you were refused, or different reason, let us know in the comment section, and I'm going to be responding to all of these questions.